Hello and welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial we'll create a detailed mechanical drawing of the flywheel. The flywheel in this PDF shows you the isometric view and then a section view of the flywheel with some nominal dimensions. Okay, so we've already created the FreeCAD model of the flywheel, and we can, as a matter of fact, open it. Okay, so just to show the inner details, what we can do is select the body flywheel, press and hold Ctrl and D for delta. The display properties pop up and we can adjust the transparency to something greater than 0, and there you can see the internal details of this flywheel. Alright, in order to change the transparency back to solid, you need to close the previous window, select the body flywheel. You can also right click and say appearance, Ctrl D, that's a shortcut key, and then you can set it back to solid if you like. Transparency 0 in other words. Close it and there we go. Right, so what I do want to show you is also we've got all the files in the downloads folder, so just work very you have to obviously work neatly, don't clutter your workspace, so rather create a new folder, call it prac6. Okay, and then what we can do is from the downloads folder select all these files that we've downloaded from ClickUp. We copy it, take it to the desktop in prac6, and we say paste. Alright. What we will also then do is just unzip these two zipped folders, the drawing templates, extract here, and the surface roughness, extract here. Okay, and these two files, so we can then delete those zip folders, and what we can do, this PDF Control Shift U, which I've printed from my email, plus the FreeCAD drawing templates, plus the surface finish, we can remove that from the prac6 folder, and let's put it in let's create a new folder, FreeCAD main if you like. Let's do that and we paste it there. Alright, we will then extract it here. Okay, extract here, surface roughness, and we can now delete let me just see. Now that we can delete surface roughness, that. Okay, so these files are related to prac6, the ISO view and the flywheel. Okay, the other files are related to FreeCAD main, so in here we can delete the flywheel, and we've got the surface finish, and we've got the drawing templates. and the Control Shift U in our FreeCAD main folder on the desktop. Okay, which is perfect. Okay, so what we then also need to do is let's just close this file because it was actually opened from the downloads folder. From the downloads folder, what we want to do is from the desktop, our practicum 6, there's our flywheel, we open it. Okay. Now we know that if we press file save, it's going to save in the correct folder. Okay. Right, so next we will start with the detailed mechanical drawing, and we need to go to the Tech Draw workbench. So we click on this down arrow and we scroll down to Tech Draw. We open the Tech Draw workbench. Now with the Tech Draw workbench open, we go to Edit and we go to Preferences, and we're going to set a few preferences for Tech Draw. Okay. The first thing we do is the label font. We're going to change to Arial. Okay, and on mine it's already done. Label font Arial. The label size is okay. Then projection group angle. The default is first. Okay, we want it to be third angle. And then default template. We will select the default template. We go to desktop, FreeCAD main. The default template is let's use the A3. Okay. The template directory, we're going to set that as well to what we've just created. FreeCAD main. There we go. Select folder. Right, the rest we can keep as is. I just want to see dimensions. Yes, all the rest is fine. The rest is fine. Okay, so we can apply that and we can say okay. Right, now what we do in order to start the drawing, we just want to orientate our 3D CAD model correctly. So we set to the top view, and if I rotate now, you will see the hole is at the top, so the other hole is at the bottom, which is what we want. Okay. Okay, so with the yes, alright, so we can now start by saying insert the default page. Okay, that opens the A3 drawing template. I'm just going to close this bottom view and zoom in a little bit. Alright, so that page we can actually delete. Okay, so we've got our page tab here at the bottom, and we've got the flywheel, the 3D CAD model, and you will notice that there's a star showing that we can save it. Let's save it. Okay, now everything is saved and up to date. Right, so now the next thing is we select the body flywheel in the model tree. It jumps back to the flywheel tab. We go to page and we say insert multiple linked views of drawable objects. Okay, takes a few moments, and there we go. The front view, correctly orientated, is now in our drawing, which is exactly what we want. Okay. This window enables or allows you to create other views, top view, okay, but we only want the front view. I'm just illustrating. So if we untick these, we don't have to tick them. We want the front view, and then what we're going to do is create a section view and show the details on the section view. Okay, so we can apply that. And we can say okay. Alright. Now with the front view selected, the front view must be selected. It shows green. Okay, we click on this icon over here, insert the section view, and we've got two options. Alright, so we can either look left or look right. Let me show you the difference. If we look left, there's a line in the middle of the hole over here, okay, but there's no line in this center hole, in the middle of the center hole. If we look right, we've got a line in the middle of the center hole, but we've got no lines here. Okay, so we can live with this line. It's strictly speaking not correct. It should be a dash dot line because it's a center line, but we can live with that. Okay. Alright, so we say okay. Okay, let's just zoom out. You will notice that the section view you can drag and position. So let's position it roughly in the middle. And then what we do under the property window, there's if we go down lock position, there's lock position, it's right at the top. It's currently at false, so let's put that true, so now we can't move the view around anymore. If you want to move it around, you have to change lock position to false. Right, so with that done, the next thing to do is you will notice that these arrows don't have any indicator, letter indicating what section view it is. So let's double click on the section view. Okay, it doesn't want to do that, so we just need to set lock position to false again. If we now, I don't know why that would be. Save it. Oh, hang on. You have to double click on the section view in the model tree. Yes. Okay. So let me just show you again. You have to, obviously we can. So what I did previously, lock position true. Okay, it's locked in position. But in the model tree, if we double click on section view, there's a option here to add an identifier. So let's do that. We say A and we okay that. And now you will notice that the letter A appears here. And what you can also do is you can enter a caption. You can enter section A, and that will then be visible if we print our drawing. These frames are not going to be visible, and if you want to toggle the visibility, okay, this is what the drawing will look like when you print it out on a PDF. We click this button over here. Okay, but we actually don't want the section AA appearing where it is appearing currently. So I'm going to delete that. Right, I will add a note later on with the title of the section view. Right, so we are now ready to start dimensioning. If I zoom in a little bit, so we will select the top vertex, press and hold Control, select this vertex, and we add a vertical dimension. Okay. Alright, so we can drag it out a little bit. Okay, you will notice there's what we are dimensioning at the moment is this outer diameter, obviously, but there's no diameter symbol. Okay, now to add the diameter symbol, what I've done is this is this Control Shift U. If you open that PDF, you will notice these are the Control Shift U symbols that we're going to use in our dimensioning and for the GD&T. Okay, so but what you can do is just highlight the symbol, Control C to copy, go to FreeCAD. Okay, so I've copied the diameter symbol, I double click on the diameter, and then this window pops up. Okay, so the first thing to do is we're not going to have an equal tolerance. Okay, so we'll specify the over and under tolerance, but what we do here at the format specifier, right at the front we control paste our diameter, and you will notice diameter is appearing. Okay, so that's fixed. Now for the tolerance value. Okay, so for the tolerance value, what we will need is this tolerance finder spreadsheet. We can, as a matter of fact, Control C, we can put that in our FreeCAD main folder as well. Control V. Right, so let's open tolerance finder. We'll use Excel for that. Okay, so our basic size is 49 millimeters. Our basic size is 49, and we've got we want to add a G6 tolerance. Okay, so the shaft is now displayed as a -9, -25. Those tolerance values are what we're going to enter in FreeCAD. Okay, here the over tolerance is -0.009, and the under tolerance is -0.025. Here we go. Okay, and the other thing, we already have the diameter sign, so what we also want to do is just in brackets add G6 space, and there we go. Sorry, there's one more thing. The format specifier, we don't need 3 decimal spaces, so we will go to this 3 and we make it 1. So 49.0, and the tolerance is there, so we can drag it out a little bit, and there we go. Perfect. Okay, so next what we will do is we will define this outer diameter as the center line of this outer diameter. We're going to define as our primary datum. Now, how we do that, we can OK this. Okay, so we need to select the view. We need to say add. Okay, we're now going to add a balloon. Okay, insert a balloon. Once it's inserted, we double click on it. Yes, sorry, we have to double click in the model tree on the balloon. Okay, so the text is going to be capital A. The bubble shape is going to be square. The end symbol is going to be a full triangle, and the leader kink length is going to be 0. Right, and there you see. Now all we need to do is we can OK that. Yes. Now we select the balloon, and we're going to edit the property values here. So the origin of the balloon, that's the origin of this triangle actually. Okay, so if we go to maybe -34.6, let's just move it up a little bit. That doesn't look too bad. Let's zoom in. Yes, okay, so we want to place it so that the triangle is in the middle, or the center of this triangle. Leg is in the middle, well, is lined up with the arrowhead. Okay, so what we have is the x dimension -34.6. Then we go to x over here, not the origin, the next x in the property tree. So we can say minus 34 4,6. Okay, and there we go. Right. You can, if you want to, you can make the a, place the a by adjusting the y value. Right, so that's perfect. So now we've got, with the fact that the triangle is lined up with the dimension line, we know that we're talking about the center line of this diameter. Okay, so what we also want to do is add a surface roughness symbol. So how we do that is we go to insert symbol from an SVG file. Okay, FreeCAD main, it's the right folder. So we want a surface finish of 1.6, and we say open, and there is our symbol. Okay, so we're going to add it over here. We just need to scale it, the property window on the bottom right, or bottom left rather. We can say 0,5. Okay, and for the symbol we want to resize it or recompute it. And there we go. That's perfect. Okay, if you want to see what it will look like, this is our drawing, what the drawing will look like. So we're making progress. Okay. Right, so next what we'll do is we'll add a symbol to define the flatness of the two faces. Okay. But before we do that, let's first add a dimension for the depth of this flywheel. Okay, so we click this vertex, press and hold Control, click this vertex, add a horizontal dimension. Okay, we drag it up. Okay, we're going to put the 15 over here. And now we double click the dimension. We will have an equal tolerance of 0,05. The format specifier is going to be 1 again. The overall tolerance format specifier can be, but here you must just be careful. The minute you delete the 3, just move your mouse with your, type the left arrow and type in a 2 over there. Okay, so that's perfect. Okay, I'm happy with that. Now, yeah, we can okay that. Right, so we've got the thickness or the depth of this flywheel. We've got that specified. Now, what we want is the center plane of the flywheel to be a datum. Now, the way we do that is we will add a solid triangle in line with the dimension line. If it's in line with the dimension line, we are referring to the center plane. If the full triangle is on the extension line or on any of these lines, we are referring to the outer surface. We want the center plane. Okay, so select section AA, we insert the balloon, and there we go. Alright, now we can double click the balloon in the model tree. Okay, we're going to name this datum B. It's going to be a square block, and it will have a filled triangle. Excuse me. Okay, and the leader kink length is going to be 0. Okay, now with that done, you can see the minute I bring my, depending on where I put the square block with the letter B in, the triangle follows it. Okay, so let's do it. Let's do that. Okay, and we can okay that. Now we go to the origin of the balloon, the second balloon we've added, and we can, okay, we need to change, yes, we need to make it smaller. Okay, so 7, let's do 7, come on. Let's do, now I'm going to edit the letters here, or the numbers rather. Let's do 7,5, that looks good. And the Y, we're going to move up. Okay, we can do maybe, let's see, 59. 59 looks okay. 59. Let's do 58,9. 58,8. There we go. I think that looks good. You can see it's nicely in the middle. Right, and then the only thing is the Y value of this balloon, we have to make the same as the origin. Okay, so that's going to be 58,8. Okay, and now it's perfectly in line. Okay, so you will notice that the original arrows actually, you can still see a little bit of that arrow sticking out. So what we can do is the end symbol scale we can make slightly bigger. Yes, 1,3, and now it's not too big and the original arrow is not sticking out anymore. Okay, so now we've defined the center plane of this flywheel as our datum B. Okay, so what needs to happen now is we also want to orientate datum B relative to datum A. And how we do that, we're going to add a perpendicularity GD&T at the bottom here. Okay, so let's do that quickly. So we say, we select AA, we add a balloon, and we click the balloon, and with the balloon in the model tree, we double click it, and now I'm going to edit the text later. The bubble shape is going to be rectangular. The end symbol is going to be none, and the line visible is going to be false. Okay, so there is our rectangular frame with a text 3 in it. Okay, so we are now going to go back to our PDF, and the one we want is perpendicularity, so we can select it, Control C for copy, we go to FreeCAD, in the text we Control V, we've got perpendicularity. Now we want a separator, or we want to divide this rectangular block into 3 separate blocks. So what we do is we press Shift and backslash. On my keyboard that is a straight line, as you can see. It enters the separator, and now we can add, we need to add the value 0,05 and Shift backspace again, and this will be relative to datum A. Okay, so our datum B is going to be perpendicular to within 50 micron relative to datum A. Okay, and that's exactly what we wanted. Okay, and now what we can do is add the symbols of flatness for these two surfaces of the flywheel. Alright, so let's okay that. Select it, add a balloon. Okay, we double click on the balloon in the model tree. We'll edit the text in a bit. So the bubble shape is going to be rectangular. The fold arrow is right. We don't want a leader kink. So this will be 0. Okay, let's drag it to around there. We can okay that. With the balloon selected, we go to the X origin. Okay, we want to increase it. Let's go to Y and see, yes, we can increase that as well. That looks good. Okay, X needs to go a little bit, not 7, let's just see, excuse me, minus 7,6, that looks good. Our Y origin is at 13,4 and the Y over here is at 13,4. We need to make it 13,4. That's perfect. Okay, so now we double click the 4 again and we're going to change the symbol. So we go to our PDF, we want flatness, we select it, Control C, go back to FreeCAD, the text, Control V, flatness, Shift, backspace, and we want 50 microns, 0,05. Okay, so I can immediately see we have a slight problem here, so we'll have to change the placement of that dimension. Okay, and we'll obviously also have to we can okay that. That first balloon, we'll need to change the X position. We'll have to make it smaller. 43, let's see, 5. That looks good. And then we just change the, we want to change the X position, minus 43,5. Right, so there we go. We've got a symbol. We've got the flatness on this side. Let's add the flatness on the opposite side. So we click section AA, we enter a balloon, we click with our mouse, we double click, we change the bubble shape to rectangular, we change the kink length to 0, and we change the text. Okay, we once again want the flatness, so we can select that, Control C, come here, Control V, Shift, backspace, 0,05. Alright, so that's more or less what we want. We can okay that. With the balloon selected, we go to the X and we make that smaller. 7,2, let's make it 7,5. That looks good. 7,6 maybe. Okay, and the Y we can make 15,4 just to make it a round number. The Y at the bottom we also make 15,4. Okay. Right, so we are making good progress. So the next step will be We now will dimension this hole over here, which is a clearance hole. Okay, if I can just go back to this sketch, so we're going to dimension this diameter 5 clearance hole. We'll dimension the M4 later. Let's now dimension this clearance hole. Okay, so in order to do that, very simple, we click the two vertices, select the first vertex, press and hold Control, select the second vertex, and we say add a horizontal dimension. Okay, I think it's also a good idea to save our file. Okay, we drag the dimension. Okay, and we're going to add it over here. Zoom out a little bit. Okay, so that's good. Then we double click the dimension. We are going to have it equally toleranced. The value is going to be plus minus comma 2. So you can notice that for the depth of the flywheel we had a reasonably tight tolerance, and that's because the flywheel, we don't want the flywheel weight to vary much, so we control the thickness or the depth, and we want the flywheel to be very nicely concentric, so we have a tight tolerance here of G6 tolerance -9, -25 micron. Okay, but this plus minus comma 2 for the clearance hole is okay, it will be okay. What we can do now is yeah, we just change the format specifier, we delete that 3, we make it a 1. The over tolerance specifier, we delete the 3, left arrow, we add a 1. Okay, so 5 plus minus comma 2, and what we also want is we want the diameter in front of the format specifier. Okay, so we go back to our PDF, we select the diameter, Control C, we go to FreeCAD, and format specifier, right at the front, we Control V. So that's diameter 5 plus minus comma 2. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to position this hole relative to datum B. Remember, datum B is the center plane or the mid plane of this flywheel. So we want it exactly in line with the mid plane, not exactly within the tolerance obviously, but relative to the mid plane, datum B. And we want the hole perpendicular relative to datum A. So datum B is going to be our primary datum, datum A is going to be our secondary datum. Alright, so we can okay that. We click the section view, we click the balloon, we add it. Alright, with the balloon added, we double click, we go to bubble shape, we make it rectangular, we don't have any end symbol, and our line visibility is going to be false. Okay, and now we say we go to our PDF. We want position, Control C, go back to FreeCAD, Control V, Shift backspace. We want the diameter symbol, so we go back to our PDF, diameter, Control C, go to FreeCAD, Control V. We're going to make it 0,1, diameter 0,1. Shift backspace, relative to datum B, as I said, is our primary datum. Shift backspace, Datum A is our secondary datum. And there we go. So now we can just position that yeah, you can actually, but anyway, let's place it just below the dimension line, and then we know that we're referring to the well, we want to refer to the center line of this hole. But what we also want to do is we want to specify that center line as datum C. So strictly speaking, you would place the GD&T over here, but because we're going to name it as datum C, just like we've done here, we add the GD&T tolerance frame below the dimension line. Okay. Alright, so we can okay that. We select the section view, we add a balloon. Okay, we double click on the balloon. This is going to be datum C. We're going to add it in a square, and we will have the end symbol as a filled triangle. The symbol scale is going to be 1,3, and the kink length is going to be 0. We can okay that. Okay, and now we simply drag it slightly like that. And the origin, we're going to change that. Sorry, I've moved now to the Y. Let's just see. Come on. Okay, if I zoom in a little bit. So this is 2,8. Let's do it 2,6. That looks good. Maybe 2,5. Yeah, I like that. The Y we're going to make to lift a little bit. It's now at 82,76. Let's make it 82,8. That doesn't look too bad. I think that's fine. Okay, I think that's fine. Okay, and then the Y over here we also need to make 82,8. The X we can reduce a little bit. Here we go, that's perfect. Okay, so we're making good progress. We've got 3 datums already, and what is left for us to do is we need to dimension this bottom clearance hole. Okay, and we'll position that relative to relative to B, A, and C. Right, because we've got C now, and this bottom hole needs to be in line with the top hole. Okay, so that's one. This isn't the only way to dimension this flywheel, but it is, in my view, an elegant way. So let's do that. Okay, so we will select this vertex. Press and hold Control, select that vertex, and we add a horizontal dimension. Okay, we can, as before, place it over here. We double click the dimension. It will be equally toleranced to 0,2. The format specifier, let's go to the diameter symbol. We select it, Control C, we go to FreeCAD, Control V, we change the 3 to a 1, and we change the over specifier. If we backspace, left arrow 1. That's it. Okay, so diameter 5 plus minus 2. And now what we can do is add the GD&T tolerance frame in line with the dimension, because we're not going to specify this hole also as a datum. Okay, so we can okay that. With section AA selected, we click on the balloon. Alright, so we double click the balloon. Let's change that to rectangular. We can, as a matter of fact, take the end symbol away, none. Take the line visible, we make false. Okay, so we are going to use positional. So it's over here. Okay, just make, oh goodness, Control Z. Just make sure you select the right symbol, Control C, go to FreeCAD. Alright, Control V, Shift, Backspace. We want diameter. Go to PDF, we select the diameter symbol, Control C, go to FreeCAD, Control V, and we have 0,1, Shift Backspace, and we have B, Shift Backspace, A, Shift Backspace, C. Right, so there we go. And now we can just place this in position. Okay, I think that's good enough. Okay. Right, so the only thing that's left, or there are two things left, and that is we obviously need to show the depth of these holes. Okay, so let's do that next. Let's select that vertex, and I think it's this vertex. You will notice, if I zoom in enough, you will notice there are two vertices over here. I think it's this one. If it's not, we'll just fix it. Let's just see. No, it's not. Sorry. Okay, so we can undo that. So it's this vertex and this vertex over here. If we put that dimension in, yes, it comes out as 15. Okay, which makes sense, right? So we are going to say, let's just see, how are we going to do this? You can do it like that, yeah, I think so. Right, so we will double click the dimension. Equally tolerance, that's fine. So we can add a value of plus minus comma 2, and we will say 1F, and the tolerance left arrow 1F, 15 plus minus comma 2. I think that's fine. Yeah, I think that's fine. Let's do it like that. Okay, and now we're going to add text. We're going to add an annotation to say in two places. Alright, so in order to do that, here we go. Okay, add insert annotation. It places it in the center of the page, so you just need to make sure you can see it. Okay, then under the property, or in the property tab, there's a text item. If you double click the default text and click on these three arrows over here. Okay, now on my screen you can't really make it out. If I highlight it, there's default text which currently appears here in the annotation. We want to change that to in two places. Okay, if I highlight it, you can see what I've typed. Right, in two places. We okay that. We go to the annotation. We want to rotate it through 90 degrees. Right, that's perfect. And then we place it in position, and yeah, that's perfect. Okay. Now, what we'll do next is we're going to just let's just see what it looks like at the moment. Okay, so this is what our drawing looks like. It looks neat, clearly visible, legible dimensions and GD&T. So, right, so I'm just adding the frame again. Turn the frame view on again because there's one more annotation that we're going to add. Let's just drag it in position. We'll put it over here, and we'll, same as before, we go to default text, click on the arrows, highlight the default text, and we say section A-A. Let me show you what I've typed. Section AA, that's perfect. Okay, so this is what it will look like now. I'm happy with that. We can drag it down a bit, and we can also change the font size to something like 8 millimeters. Yeah, that's even better. Okay, I like that. Okay, let's save our file. Perfect. Alright. Now, the only portion that we haven't dimensioned is the tapped hole. Okay, we didn't dimension the tapped hole. Okay, so, and there's also one other thing that we didn't do here, and that is to add center lines. Okay, so in order to add the center line, you can press and select that surface over here, press and hold Control, select this surface, come to this button over here, insert the center line to faces, and it needs to be vertical. You can set all the dimensions, and we can say OK. Right, so we do the same here at the bottom, press and hold Control, select those two faces, click on that icon. We want it vertical, that's perfect. Okay, we actually want dash dot. Okay, I wonder if we will be able to, let's just see. Okay, so this line we can delete somehow. I think there was a way. Not really. Okay, let's undo twice. No, it doesn't want to. Let's see if we select it and we delete it. No, oh goodness, no, that's not what we want. Right, so everything seems to be in place. Let's just see again. Yeah, no, we're happy with that. Okay, so let's try again. So what we can do, we can select all 4 faces. Press and hold Control. So let's select all 4 faces, and we say we want a center line, vertical. It's not a dash line, it's a dash dot line. It extends by 3 millimeters, that's fine. Okay, so we're happy with that. Okay, so the last thing we want to do is add a detailed view of this area so that we can dimension the center hole, and we can also dimension the tapped holes. Right, so to do that, we click section AA and we insert a detailed view. Let's drag the view slightly to the left. Alright, so we're happy with the position of the view. It's correctly placed. We just want to increase the size slightly, and the scale we want to do maybe 2,5. If you try to hatch so diagonal 4 is actually what we want. We want the diagonal hatching. Okay, great. So with that done, okay, we can now dimension the center hole. So we click the two vertices. We say, okay, we can okay the hatching. We say we add a vertical dimension, and we want, yeah, we'll place it in a minute. Double click on the dimension. So it's not going to be equally toleranced. Alright, so let's quickly go to our tolerance finder. The shaft is an M6, okay, and we want a clearance fit. So unfortunately this spreadsheet, if you go to E8, you get a plus 34 plus 8 micron, which is quite severe, okay, and one smaller is an F7, then it's a bit too tight, so we want something in between. So what we can do is I've made available this tolerance table as well, okay, so if we open that, yeah, let's just open that quickly. Alright, so let's see this whole tolerance. If we zoom in a little bit, okay, so we want something, yeah, here we go. So okay, so the E7 was a bit too tight for this is a 6mm more than, so we're looking at this second column, okay, so E7 sorry, no, F. We looked at an F. Yeah, so let's just go back there. Yeah, F7 was a 1022, okay, which is too tight, and E8 is plus 20 plus 38, which is too loose, so we want something in between. Okay, so we can do E7, for example, then we have plus 20 plus 32. Yeah, I think the E7 is actually better. Okay, so let's do E7 plus 20 plus 32, and our tolerance, so the minimum clearance will be 8 and the maximum clearance will be 32, which is 6 less than that, is plus 28, which is good enough. So we're going to go for an E, not E8, we're going to go for E7. On our tolerance on our frame, on our table, E7 is plus 32 plus 30 plus 20, okay, which is fine. Alright, so let's do that. So it's plus 32 plus 20. The format specifier is diameter, so we go here and we say diameter, Control C, go to FreeCAD, Control V. We want only one symbol there, and we want to show that it is E7. Okay, I'm happy with that. Now we also want a good surface finish here, so let's okay that. We say insert a symbol from an SVG file, surface finish, open it. Okay, it places it in the middle. Okay, we want it there, somewhere there, so we'll just scale it quickly. Okay, let's try 0.5. Let's recompute. Yeah, it's let's do 0.45. See what that looks like. Yeah, that's better. Just place it nicely on the line. Right. It's a bit too low now. There we go. Okay, perfect. Okay. Right, so that's done. What we can do now, oh goodness, that's not what I wanted to do. You see, that's why it's a good idea to lock. And I think this symbol is now back to 0.5 scale. So let's just do 0.45. Okay. Recompute it. Let's lock this in position. Scale, lock position true. Here we go. Now it won't move around. I can zoom in a bit. There we go. Alright, I'm happy with that. Okay. So what we want to do is we want to obviously locate the hole as well. And we'll do that with the concentricity GD&T. Right, so let's click the detail view, click on the balloon. Okay, double click the balloon. We are going to use a rectangle. Go to our symbol, concentricity, coaxiality rather. It's actually coaxiality. Let's Control C that. Control V. Shift backspace. We want the diameter symbol. Control V. Diameter 0.05. And we want shift backspace that relative to datum A. Come on. Okay. A. There we go. Okay, so we're not going to have an end symbol, none, and the line visibility we're going to put to false. I just want to see, I'm not sure. Yeah, actually, yeah, let's just see, because I'm not sure. Balloon. Yeah, unfortunately you can't rotate that balloon. You can't rotate that balloon, so we will have to go to line visibility true. Okay, which is not a problem. Kink length. Can move this slightly. There we go. That's gonna work nicely. Right. Okay, so we'll okay that. We'll go to the origin of the balloon. Yeah, that's nice. Okay, in the Y direction. What we do want is, we don't want none. That's it. Okay, and now we just need to fiddle until we get this thing right. Okay, so we okay that. Go to the origin again, the X. Okay, 26. Let's look at 27 on the nose. on the dot rather, 26,2. Okay. I think this needs to be, I'm not sure actually. Okay, it changes it. Yeah, alright. Okay. So we know that the kink length is 5 millimeters. So what's funny to me, oh, I think it's this length. That's 5. This length is 5. Yeah. I'm not sure what that length is. Okay. Okay, so we'll just fiddle with it a little bit. 19. That looks good. 27,3. Okay, this should be 18,9. 27,4. That's not too bad. I think I'll go for that. What we can do is just make that yeah, let's do that. Okay, I think that's good enough. Okay, perfect. Okay, so now we've specified the location of this hole relative to datum A, and because our GD&T tolerance frame is in line with the dimension line, we are actually specifying the axis of this hole, okay, which is what we want. Alright, so we've done this. Okay, so the last thing that we need to do in terms of dimensions is the dimension of this the tapped hole. Okay, so what I suggest we do is let us select these two vertices, and we add a horizontal dimension. We drag it up. Okay, so like that. And then we add the format specifier. We say M5. That's not what I wanted to do. Cancel. Okay, format specifier, we delete all of that. We type in M5. Doesn't want to do that. Let's just say percentage. I don't think that's going to work. Oh, I know. Yes, I know. Sorry. So we need to select this arbitrary text. There we go. M5. Sorry, it's actually M4. M4, and we can say into places. That's not going to work. I think it's not. We don't have M4 in 2 places. No, that's okay. You can also say, if you just to make sure, tapped in 2 places. Okay, if you like, you can do that, and we just need to then specify the concentricity of these two tapped holes relative to datum C. Okay. Okay, if you remember, datum C is that hole over there. Okay, so let's do that quickly. So we can okay that. Select this. We create a balloon. Double click the balloon. We make it a rectangle. We go to our. We want concentric or coaxial actually. Coaxial. Control V, Shift backspace. We want the diameter symbol. Control C. Control V. 0,2. Shift backspace relative to datum R. Come on. Datum C. Okay, so as before, we don't want the fold. We don't want the fold arrow, and here we don't need the kink, so we can say that's 0. Okay, and then we can just, here we go, move it in position. We can okay that, and we go to X origin. Okay, let's make it, there we go, one smaller. We go to the Y position. We can actually drag this. Oh, you know what we can do? Oh, let's do this. Let's say line visibility is false, and then we simply, there we go, that's much easier. Okay. Tapped in 2 places. There we go, that's perfect. Alright, so I like that. Okay, so that's in terms of all the dimensions. We've done well. We can file save that. Okay, let's just look at what the drawing looks like. Once again, neat, clearly legible. Okay, everything is good. Right, so last thing is we added an annotation. We're going to add notes here. So that's the second last thing. Then the very last thing we'll fill in the title block. Okay, so let's place it somewhere there. The default text, we click on the 3 arrows, and we say notes 1. Surface, okay, so we can say surface roughness RA 3,2 unless otherwise specified. Okay, surface roughness RA 3,2 unless otherwise specified. Number 2 is break all sharp edges. To 0,3 max by, okay, so we want this symbol. Control C, go to FreeCAD, Control V by 45. Okay, we'll add spaces in a minute. 45 degree. Control C, we go here, we say Control V, we go plus minus 0,3 1, you go back here, you say degree, Control C, yeah, enter. Okay, I want to actually, there I want to space, and this I want to make 3 degrees, plus minus 3 degrees. Okay, note number 3 is all unspecified fillet radii to be R0,4 max. And note number 4 is material and that will be brass. Okay. Alright, that's our notes. We can make the font slightly bigger. I don't know, 8 is maybe too big. No, 7 also. Let's go for 6. Will that work? No, I think 5.5. Let's see, 5.5. Here we go. Alright, I like that. Okay, I can live with that. Okay, so now let's save it. Let's just have a look again. There's one thing, this, I want to move that slightly away. Yes. Okay, it's more or less, yeah, it's better. Okay. Alright, so last thing, we just fill in the title. We click on this green block over there. This will be Flywheel. Flywheel, you add your surname. Yeah, we'll have to move the annotation slightly. So, okay, you add your initials, your student number. I'm not going to add mine here, but you will add your student number, whether you're mechanical or industrial. Okay, the drawing number, you can just delete that, it's not necessary for that. Same for the revision, you don't need to worry about that. Okay, let's just see if everything is okay. Yes. Sheet 1 of 1, scale 1 to 1, and the date you can add. Yeah, 2022 05 04. Here we go. Perfect. Okay, so with that done, we can have one last look at our drawing. It looks fine. We can save it. File, export PDF. That's what we want. Okay, so this is now yeah, prac6. If you like, you can add any other 0504 prac6, or you can say Flywheel. I don't know. You can name it as you see fit. Not in main, but rather in prac6. Here we go. Save. Okay, that's it. And then you submit your PDF. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you.